Once the cut sheet has been completed, then the dimensions for the parts are validated and it is time to publish the manufacturing documents called prints. The prints tell us the dimensional profile for each part as well as dimensions for the machining processes. This is a simple project requiring only 3 prints since the 2 sides are identical and each shelf and top are also the same. The other print will be for the bottom filler or cove. First, I open up my default drawing template I called Cabinet. Then I pick one of the parts of the cabinet for the base view. In this case, I selected the side for the first print. I adjust the scale as needed as well as adding projected views. Now is when I decide what dimensions are needed. The 2 obvious ones are length and width. The others are the location and size of the dados and rabbet. If this project was using materials of different thicknesses, then I would also include the thickness of each part. I left it off since they're all going to be the same. My default drawing template is set up for fractional imperial measurements, but in just a bit we're going to alter that to also show metric. When the dimension value will not fit in between the lines, then you will want to pick the first corner or edge where you want the dimension text, otherwise you might have to move it. If I pick the line to be dimensioned, then I am stuck with the inventor default, and if I select the right side first, then the dimensions will not be on the side where I want it. In this project, all of my calculations that are programmed into the parts should have put each shelf exactly the same distance apart. Now is when we find out if I got it right. Then continue with creating all of the dimensions. I am narrating this video long after I created these dimensions and they are not the ones that I actually need, so this print will have to be updated before I cut the dados. The dimension I need is actually to the center of each cut. Also, this is set down to the 32nd of an inch, which is not a feasible precision to hold for a cabinet, so we'll have to change that to the 16th of an inch when I add the metric equivalents. To update the dimension style, we go to the Manage tab and then click the Styles Editor. Once the dialog box is open for the Styles Editor, it should be highlighting the active style for this sheet, and that's the one we're going to alter. Expand the dimension root and select Cabinet, which is the one I have assigned to the cabinet standard. I select the Precision pull-down and change it to 1/16 inch. Now pick the Alternate Units tab and you see the alternate units is set to inch as well, so I changed that to millimeters and set the precision. Last, select the format how I want the alternate units displayed. Tick the Save and Close button and all the dimensions are immediately updated to the new format. Note that this is the format for this drawing only and does not change my template. Now I have to move things around just a little to get everything back on the page. While narrating this video, I updated the print for the side to show the edge to center for each dado as well as creating all of the other prints, as seen in the browser bar to the left. I created a sheet for each part in the same drawing file and they will all share the same dimension style as the first sheet. Looking at the title bar at the bottom right shows the material and the description which is in the part file as well as the part number. Quickly referring back to the part file and opening the part properties, we can see where that information is stored under the Project tab. Back to the prints and looking at the bottom left corner of my sheet shows the last known location of the file when it was printed. Opening the sheet for the shelf, you can see it is pretty simple and just needed an X and Y dimension. I included a sheet for the top just in case I decided to make it different than the shelves, but that never happened. The dimensions for the toe kick are arbitrary since I will be cutting it to fit once everything else is assembled. The prints for this project are now complete and it is time to get to cutting and making sawdust.